This podcast is entirely listener supported. To find out how you can help, head to patreon.com/wehaveconcerns.
All you have to do is pay the exact amount you've already paid again a year later.
For the same
functionality. But it's +1 to slightly easier.
I'm going to do it too. That's the thing.
Yeah, you are.
Do it.
Yeah, you are.
I'm going to do it, and I'm going to justify it. I'm already rationalizing it in my brain. I'm already like, oh, well, this iPad, god damn, I'm the worst person. Welcome to We Have Concerns. Hi, Jeff Canada.
Hey, Anthony Carboni.
Video games.
Oh, I love them.
The silent killer.
Are they?
The destroyer of our... Nah, fuck it.
I was like, we're talking about something real different than what I thought we were talking about.
No. Here's what... I saw this headline in Kotaku, how one gamer went from addict to entrepreneur, and it's a story about a kid in China who was a video game addict and wasn't doing well in school and was kind of throwing his life away because he was addicted to video games.
Okay.
Who...
Are we just going to concede that being addicted to video games is a thing? Is there a debate there to be had?
Man, probably, but not with me.
Really? You think that addiction is valid?
I think you can get addicted. I think something can certainly become detrimentally habitual.
I don't disagree with that, but I don't know if that's the same as addiction.
I don't know, man, but that's not the point. The point is,
I'll concede that point.
Yeah, like, I don't know. The point is...
He was addicted to video games.
He was addicted to video games.
Cocaine.
Yeah, he was on the Vigicrack. But then in college, he started charging people to teach them League of Legends.
Okay.
And then he started charging more and more people. And then he came up with an idea, and now he runs this gigantic gaming center where they play games like League of Legends and StarCraft and stuff like that. And
That's cool.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing. And it made me think about paths in life that are useful or not useful. And whether they actually are useful or not useful. Whether anybody can tell you whether you are on a useful path or not.
Well, are we going to define useful as being lucrative?
We're going to define useful as something that assists your life rather than hindering it. We're going to say that doing this thing may not be the most lucrative thing in the world, but maybe you're told that there is something that you shouldn't pursue, and fuck you. Turns out that I'm paying the bills with it. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Turns out that I'm kind of respected by a group of people for it. Turns out that you just literally didn't know what you were saying.
Yeah.
And how often you can trust your gut to be right on that. Because let me tell you something. This could have not worked out.
And I think that there are many examples of it not working out.
Yeah.
As far as the guy who is just spending all his time addicted to video games doesn't have the gumption to actually see value in it and turn it into something useful for people, just sort of whiles away his time and doesn't do anything.
Right.
And so then all the concerns of his parents and his school, etc., are proven true because you are just kind of frittering away your time on something. Although I'm a big believer in a moment enjoyed is not wasted. So I'm a big believer in enjoying life. But there is two sides to this. I think this guy is the exception to the rule rather than the rule. But you disagree? You look at me like you're about to pounce.
No, I'm not about to pounce. I was just going to ask you what made you go into acting.
Yeah, man.
He said as he dramatically sipped his glass.
I proved all those people wrong, didn't I?
Well, but that's what's funny, though, is I feel like we are in a time, in a particular point in at least American history, if not world history, where it's almost easier to make a living being an individual and going off the beaten path than it is to make a living on the beaten path. I think about a lot of economic stuff that I've seen happen. I think about a lot of people that went into safe majors, went into...
Well, hey, man, safe cracking is a very growing business. So as majoring in safes...
You get one.
Damn it.
You get one dad joke, you motherfucker, and we're like 3 minutes in. I'm going to watch you this time.
All right.
But I think about friends of mine that were like, well, I'm going into this job because I read a report that says that they need jobs like this. Like right now, there's a shortage of optometrists.
Yeah.
Do you want to be an optometrist? I don't know. I just want to have a job.
Yeah.
And everybody tells me it's okay. you
Yeah.
know? And then
I read an article recently about the number one highest salary of any major right out of college. You're almost guaranteed to make like $200,000 or $300,000 a year right out of college.
Yeah.
If you major in, you ready for this? Mm-hmm. Petroleum studies. Can you imagine anything more mind-numbingly, soul-crushingly depressing than petroleum studies?
No, I can't.
Well, that's why you'll make so much money if you do it.
Yeah, that's the thing is I grew up with a lot of people who were told, because I didn't come from a very creative place. I didn't come from a very, I didn't come from a place, I didn't come from a place where individual creativity was championed very much. I feel like people were conned into go into petroleum studies. You'll make $200,000 a year. And then, like maybe you do make $200,000 a year. Maybe you get really stressed out and you gain a lot of weight and you don't like your life because you spend most of your waking hours at work.
Yeah.
And it doesn't work out for you. Maybe you literally just don't care about work to the point where you can go in for 8 hours and study the hell out of that petroleum.
Yeah.
And on the weekend, you can water ski, which I can't. I don't have a fucking boat.
Because you got a boat.
I did what I loved.
Yeah.
I don't have a boat.
You got so much boat fun that you can just throw petroleum in that boat and go across the river and you're boating.
And as you're filling up the boat with petroleum, you're like, hey, fun fact about this petroleum.
The words fun fact and petroleum are an oxymoron.
Hey, fun fact.
There's nothing
this
fun.
Petroleum paid for this boat, so you can shut your mouth and listen to my fun fact you want to go water skiing today.
I really want to. I really appreciate that. And thank you for giving me my rent money and buying my art painting that I made because I can't pay rent.
Yeah, it's cool art painting. You stick with that.
I had so much fun making it, and I'm so happy with how it came out, but I can't feed my family.
Yeah, do you own a shirt that doesn't have a hole in it?
No, I do not.
Should have studied petroleum, creative guy. Woo!
Yeah, that's pretty much a snapshot
it,
of my life.
You never know if it's going to work out, right? There are two conflicting things that we are told, and both of them are equally wrong. Number one is you got to get yourself a good job. You got to go to college, work hard, get yourself a good job that people respect, and then you'll be fine. That's lie number one. Lie number two is follow your dream. They're both equally wrong. It's two sides of the same extreme, man.
Yeah.
Both of them work out poorly for everybody.
No, you're right in the sense that it's neither of those, but it's also both of those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I feel like you listen to this kid who started this gaming center and it became, okay, no one's going to pay me to sit around and play StarCraft.
Yeah.
But can I start a place for people who want to sit around and play StarCraft? And can I make that work? And can I enjoy that enough?
Right.
And is it compromise? Do I want to say compromise? Because compromise is another word that people think is a bad word. And I don't think it is.
I don't think it is either. I don't think compromise necessarily it has negative connotations. I mean, it means you're giving up something, but it means that I guess that's why it has negative connotations, is that inherent.
Because it's not living your dream.
Yeah.
You compromised.
It's got to be live your dream responsibly.
If you're 21 or over, have a designated dreamer.
Please, friends don't let friends dream and drive.
Friends don't let friends dream. Let's get real.
All right.
I spent my whole life not having any realistic goals and pretty much just feeling like everything that anybody ever told me to do was worthless and a lie and a construct of a system, which was a little negative. And I'll tell you what, there was a really long time in my life.
At least that didn't have any long-lasting effects on you.
Yeah, I mean, it has obviously, look, this is my personality now. There's no getting rid of it. But here are the effects that it had on me. Going to New York and going like, fuck it, I'm going to be an actor, filmmaker, whatever. There was a really, really long time when if I had just shut my trap and gone to college, I could have had a day job that would have helped me out quite a bit in terms of being able to eat and keep the lights on. I had a really, really, really shitty time in New York for almost 10 years.
Yeah.
Because
you were following your dream.
Because I was following my dream. Wee! Cool, man. So is everybody else.
Yeah.
You don't have a degree. You don't have any skills that we need right now.
You want to know the crazy lie that I told myself?
Yeah.
That is the bullshit thing that's not untrue, but is also, I would say the thing of, I don't want to have anything to fall back on.
The Quentin Tarantino thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't have anything to fall back on because you will. And I went, I don't want to have anything to fall. Yeah, I buy into that bullshit because I will.
Yo,
and
I told myself that for 10 years.
Right.
I wish I had something to pay the bills and make my life not shit for such a long time.
Yes. Yes. Said the two guys on the show where they ask you to support it, please, by going to our Patreon.
Right. So it's the two guys who live via begging. No, but I mean, I got to a point where I do what I love enough that the bills are paid.
Yeah.
I feel like people understand what I do and they respect that I do what I do. But it came from a long time of looking at people and telling them, oh, I host things, I write things. And they were like, ha 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 ha, bartender.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And you're like, shut up and just tip me.
When things started going well for me is when I decided to compromise a little. When I decided that I wasn't just going to go to auditions every day and work 3 jobs. It was when I decided, okay, well, I did go to school to learn how to use video cameras and video editing software and all this stuff. It's time to compromise and figure out what the version of my dream is that will allow me to pay the bills.
Right.
And that's when I started making shows.
Yeah.
And I started doing them myself. And that's when all of a sudden, yes, I was paying the bills and doing what I loved.
Well, I find that the concept of live your dream
Live your dream!
It really, how it has worked out for me is there is a version of doing something where I don't look at the clock.
Yes.
There's a version of doing something where I am working my ass off and doing it and working hard and putting in the hours and the time and the effort, and I don't think of it as doing that. And I suspect there are people in all walks of life, and it isn't just creative things.
No.
But there are all walks of life where people are
Dude,
passionate
somebody
about
out
what
there
they do.
really loves petroleum studies, and he lucked out because he was in the right place at the right time.
Yeah, man.
You know?
God, I wish I was that guy.
God, if I could just love...
Wouldn't it be great to just fucking love petroleum so much?
Just so much that you want to learn new and exciting things about petroleum every day.
Yeah.
Like, that'd be great. There were a lot of times when I was doing the video game journalism thing, I was like, why am I talking to people that know how to talk math to computers? Why didn't I learn to talk math to computers?
Yeah.
I realized it was because I didn't really want to be a video game journalist.
Right.
And, there was a better version of what I wanted to do. But that, how do you know when you're towing that line? How do you know when the dream is dead, man?
Well, that's a whole
the rough
other question.
shit, right? That's the rough shit, because you can work real hard, you can be real good.
Yeah, and it has nothing to do with anything.
And nothing will happen.
Well, I mean,
because you know what? Like, there's a dude
something
out
I
there.
think about every day.
Because there's a dude out there right now, or there's a dude, 20 years ago, who was really into petroleum. Wasn't the right time.
He missed his mark.
It wasn't the right time.
He had to go into acting.
Yeah.
That poor Slav had to fucking be an extra.
And that man is Sir Patrick Stewart.
If you talk to him today, he'll tell you.
He wished that he had stuck with it.
He wanted.
I really felt like if I had given petroleum studies just one more year, it really would have happened for me.
Well, I just kind of was hoping you would tell stories about Star Trek.
Here's the interesting thing about refining petroleum.
Yeah, no, that's fascinating. We're all excited, and I appreciate you coming down and talking to the class. But maybe you could give us some Shakespearean advice. You've done so many roles.
Shakespeare's fine.
We all agree.
He's, he did things. They rhyme. Sometimes they don't. It doesn't matter. What matters is that the world runs on petroleum. Look at this mug.
Oh, Sir Patrick Stewart.
People don't think about this, but plastic is mostly petroleum.
Yeah.
Petroleum is the world around us.
Yeah.
I used to tell Brent Spiner that all the time, and he never listened to me.
Oh, thank God, finally a Star Trek story.
Here's the thing about Brent Spiner.
Yeah?
He doesn't care about petroleum as much as he should.
Neither do we, Patrick, but thank you for coming in. We appreciate it.
Well, it was lovely to be here, and remember, children, hybrid cars are bullshit. Don't buy into them. I'm Patrick Stewart, and I'm telling you to flood the air with petroleum byproducts. It was a shitty Patrick Stewart impression to keep going that long.
It was fine. I was impressed. I was very impressed. I was going to jump in, but you took it, and I was very happy.
My dream for a very long time was to be a Patrick Stewart impersonator, and I gave it up. I felt like if I had just given it one more year.
You could have pulled it out. And the Patrick Stewart petroleum product tour that you were planning.
A one-man show where Patrick Stewart talks about petroleum is really my dream project.
Yeah.
And that's why I moved to LA, to follow my dream and create that one-man show. What do you do? What do you do to tell yourself?
That's what I ask myself all the time. What do I do?
No, but what do you do to tell yourself, this is cool, it's working? Like, how do you know and how do you not know?
It's
like last year you were on TV like twice, right?
No, that's so pathetic.
No, that's not pathetic. That's 2 times more than anybody.
Except for everybody that is successful.
Well, but like, you were on TV twice.
Right.
Is that like, cool, I was on TV, this is happening?
Yeah, until it stops happening, and then you go, well, how come I was on TV twice just so recently, and now, like, now I don't even get auditions?
Right.
It's also the kind of thing where you find other projects like this awesome podcast that I'm doing with you and other things.
Are you crying? Are you crying right now?
Just in my heart, mostly.
When you said awesome podcast, you started crying just a little bit.
It was, because, well, we don't need to get into that.
You were thinking about Rake, weren't you? You were wondering why Rake
canceled too soon.
You were wondering why Rake didn't get renewed.
It was going to be recurring. It got canceled. Why couldn't it have gotten some ratings? Yeah.
But no, like you hear stories like this all the time where somebody got their first big job when they were like 35, 40 years old.
Yeah. You keep telling yourself that. You keep pushing that number back and you keep going, oh, well, I just had this conversation with Dave Chen on /Film talking about, because he's doing his first movie and everything. And I said this quote that I have thought about many times in my life. My friend once said, there's a fine line between confidence and self-delusion.
Right.
And you never know what side of that line you're on. You never know if it's like, well, it's just around the corner and just keep banging your head against the wall and do something creative and keep working and keep pushing and keep trying. Or if it's like, hey, this isn't going to happen.
Right.
Stop wasting your life trying to make it happen. You're just deluding yourself. And you never know what side of that you're on. And I am one of those people that can't not do stuff like this.
Right.
I have a hard time not doing it. And so I feel like that's my barometer of it. Like, well, I'm going to find ways
because you're like me and you're a moron that never learned to do anything else.
That's not inaccurate.
We have locked ourselves in.
we're lifers.
But also, like, it's because the bills are paid.
Right.
And you still love it.
Yeah. You still love it. And I do love it. And I love trying. And I feel like I haven't gotten the opportunity to do certain things. And if I had just gotten that opportunity, you never know. It's a very fickle thing. And it has very little to do with, as you said, effort and talent. It's very, very little to do with it.
From what we've been talking about, it seems like there are some very simple barometers, right? Like the difference between a gaming addict and this kid is what you're doing hurting yourself or the people around you.
Well,
right?
That's the big question now as somebody who's about to get married, is that now it's not just me. Mm-hmm. Now there is somebody for whom I'm responsible, at least in part.
Right.
And I'm fortunate in finding somebody that supports my creative life. But, as you get older and your life becomes less about you and more about the other people in your life, it's a much more difficult bargain.
So here's the thing. You can't be detrimental to yourself or anybody else.
Right.
You have to be paying your bills, doing your share.
Right.
Right. And you have to still love it.
Yeah.
And I feel like if those 3 things are in place, then you're probably fine. Yeah. I feel like everything else is probably a projection of whatever idea of success was planted into our head by some external force. Because in reality, like, if we're paying the bills and we're liking what we do, and the people around us like that we're doing it, that's fucking success.
That's true, man.
Right?
That's true. You wake up every day and you're excited about what you're doing that day. It's pretty remarkable, and I'm fortunate to have that, for sure.
I see a lot of people who, for whatever reason, say that they're still following their dream, but are like super bitter. Mm-hmm. Like,
that's the worst.
They just hate the industry, but they're still following it because it's their dream. And it's like, bro, you need to sit down.
Yeah.
figure out what the new dream is.
Yeah.
And it's really hard because if you've been doing something for a very long time, your brain is conditioned to think only about that thing.
Yeah. It's that weird condition of, I hate all these people, but I wish they would love me.
Yeah.
You know, you can't live in that universe.
You can't live in that universe.
If you think so little of the industry in which you're asking for acceptance,
I think we hold on to the original dream for so long because we value, it's my dream,
right?
That we forget that we are changing. We're forever changing and everything around us is changing. And so we need to allow our dream to change as well.
Right.
And some people just hold on to that for too long to the point where you're not making any money. You're not very good at what you do and you hate it.
Right.
It's probably not really your dream. Yeah, you're probably just stubborn at that point.
This video game kid's going to wake up one day and be like, oh, God, I hate League of Legends.
But you know what's going to be great is he's going to have a thriving business that he can sell. He can buy a boat. He can study petroleum studies.
Oh, man.
That kid's fucking lucky.
We need to get interested in petroleum, dude.
We need to get into that kid's life.
Yeah.
We need to be that kid's friend. That kid's more successful than anybody I know, and he's in China. They're not even allowed to be successful there.
That's depressing on a whole number of levels.
Wow. Actually, yeah, now that I think about it, that's real bad. How do you guys feel? Are you guys pursuing something that you've always dreamed of? Do you feel like your job and your dream should be separate?
Yeah.
It's not a popular thing anymore, but I feel like it's a philosophy that has a lot of value that we've forgotten about. We would love to hear from you on Twitter at @acarboni.
And I'm at Jeff Ganata.
You can also leave it in the comments on the Patreon feed for this episode. It's patreon.com/wehaveconcerns. Our main site is wehaveconcerns.com. And if you would like to submit a story to us, you can go to wehaveconcernshow@gmail.com.